Hello everyone, welcome back to the Manga Path. Today we're doing something just a little bit different. We're going to be studying the technique of Takehiko Inoue, I believe, if I didn't butcher that. He's the author of Vagabond. We are going to be studying how he does his hair mainly. He uses brushes for it, and we use brushes, a lot of brushes. We are going for a more my own personal style. I'm going to be going for a little bit more of a painterly, expressive style, so it suits us pretty well to study his work. So we're going to be trying to mimic how he inks his hair and see if we're able to do so successfully. I drew this guy here. He's from, I guess, the first few chapters. I don't know if it's a different character than what everybody's used to. I've heard a few other names. I have not read the entire series or anything like that. But it's Shinem Takezo. He's, like I said, from the first few chapters. I have a few panels that I've taken screenshots of that I will be using kind of as inspiration as I practice all over the page before I try to actually draw some hair on him. I'll try not to skip the video much after I start drawing and practicing, but I will speed it up and I'll probably just slow it back down to make some comments here and there. Brushes we will be using today are just a couple different rounds and flats. They're cheapies and I may have to upgrade soon. We'll see how well today goes. They're ranging from size 4 to 6 on the flats and size 1 to 9 on the rounds. We'll see what we can do and what streaks end up coming out. I'm actually from a more of a construction paint background, so I'm used to using flats and stuff. I actually wouldn't mind getting a angled flat to kind of use as a round on one side and a flat when you use the whole thing. But for now we got these and we're going to see how they go, and we're going to see if we can get at least close to how some of his hair looks in his panels. I'll put some of the panels that I'm using as references to study up on the screen. It won't necessarily be the same ones that I'm looking at that very moment, but I'll put them throughout the video just so you know what all I will be looking at. Without wasting any more time, let's get right to it. I'm going to start with the largest one, actually, the number 9 that I have. Round. Get it real nice and saturated with ink. And let's just start practicing a few strokes. For me, it's not easy to end it at a point, especially smoothly. You can't really hesitate much, otherwise you get wobbly lines like that. It's all about a light touch, apparently. Really light touch. With the dip pen too, it's really about a light touch. I did all this with the G pen, which usually I'm not able to achieve such fine lines with just the G pen. Usually I gotta go down to the A nib. Let's switch it out. Let's try the flat 6. I feel like what we can do here is start big and then we can start to twist it to get that point. Don't twist it too much. I don't know if this is the quality or maybe the fact that I haven't taken as well care of them. I really need some brush soap. I need to get some of that. But it ends up doing stuff like that. It ends up splitting a lot on me. And it's probably more so it's dirty. There we go, that's a decent one. Let's try the smaller ones. Number 4 round. It feels a bit better. This is also a brand new brush though. I haven't used it for anything else yet. I'm liking the effect how a semi-dry brush does too. It's not necessarily what we're going for at the moment, but I'll have to consider using that in the future. Alright, let's try a real small flat. And again, I don't know if it's just the brushes I have or what, but the flats don't seem to hold as much. Let's go back to the round. Let's try the real small one. Although this one I have used a lot and it's frayed, even though I've tried to correct it by letting it dry with the point on it several times. Sometimes the point, I can get it to come back kind of nicely once it's wet with the ink. Well, I stand corrected. This one might be the one we end up using for the little drawing over there in the corner. This size 1 might be the right one to use, and then just build upon that, especially for this little guy here. Might use like a much larger one depending on the scale of the drawing, but seems you can get pretty thick lines going pretty thin, kind of nicely going to that nice point. Although being able to go to a point could also depend on the brush and technique. I might be getting the hang of bringing it out to a point. Seems to help if at the end you do a very slight twist. Oh, that one didn't turn out well. I was trying to do it slow. Like that. I turned it sideways on that one. It's really hard to train the muscle memory. Well, not hard to train, but it's hard to keep that muscle memory to do the same thing that you want it to each and every time. It truly does take a lot of practice, at least for me. No genius in that regard. Just try pushing the line away from us instead of pulling towards us. If you go too fast, the paint doesn't have time to get to the tip of the brush. Ends up looking like a dry brush. So it really is just all about practice, 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 and figuring out what works and what doesn't. Especially for each person. Each person's a little bit different. The way their hand moves, the way they're able to grip the pencil or brush, nib holder. There are definitely some things that can be copied and some things that just have to be learned on your own. Filled this page up pretty fast. I have to really try to figure out how to do this. I like that I'm able to get these real thin lines too if I just go real light. Push down a little bit. Oh, ran out of ink. Push down a little bit more. Nice thicker line. Come out to that point. There we go. I think we're starting to get it now. That's starting to look like hair. Starting to look like something. Just keep building on that, making sure to leave gaps. Kind of doing a small twist when you're moving the brush. I think we're starting to get it. Starting to figure it out. There we go. And it really doesn't take long to start to build something up. Gotta actually make it to the ink. Running out of space, so we're just gonna practice right over. I don't feel quite confident quite yet to put hair on that guy over there. Oh, that's where the hand just does whatever it wants. That's where my freehand drawings go wrong. Right now, I'm just kind of looking at my references and doing a little bit of the hair that they have without the face or anything. Alright, I think just a little bit more practice and I can put some believable hair on that guy. That's maybe in at least a similar style as Takehiko Inoue and his manga Vagabond. Again, I've decided to mainly go with the number 1 round. I would assume if I were to do something pretty large scale, full page, I may go with something a little bit different, a little bit larger anyways. Probably not different, probably still use a round. Maybe like the number 4 I got here. Trying to practice putting the lines towards us and away from us. So honestly, for me, it's a lot more difficult to do the lines going away. My hand just really wants to utilize going down and towards me instead of away. If you guys have any suggestions on which brushes I should end up using for my waterproof and then my other Sumi water-based ink, let me know. I was thinking about just using, I believe it was synthetic squirrel hair, and then maybe full synthetic. I'll have to do a little bit more research though. Supposedly the synthetic mixes for the brushes will hold a little bit less of the ink residue and hold up a little bit longer full time. At least from what I've researched so far. But supposedly I actually should be using water-based brushes for both things, because even though the waterproof ink has acrylic in it to make it waterproof, it's still so water-based, and because of the ink itself, again with the residue on the brushes, it's better to go with water-based because of how much water is in it, and synthetic because of the ink residue, the carbon that's in it. But that's what I've learned so far. I'll have to double check some facts and a few things before I actually go get a few new brushes that I will be really taking care of. And from about here, we want to go to the ponytail. Oh, we're on the ponytail a bit much. So we want to build it going to the ponytail. We don't need to have a point right there. Let's see. This comes down and out there. Would have liked to have had that a bit more of a point. Gotta really work my points. I think it's because I'm doing this more. I gotta be more straight up and down. I'm down much more because it does cover the ear quite, it covers almost the whole ear. I'm gonna bring it all the way down here. Well, I think I've already overdone it over there, but that's alright. It's all practice. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Any more would be overdoing it at this point. Oh, wait, no. I am mistaken. It wouldn't be overdoing it because we forgot all the... I forgot. all the bangs coming down to the eyes. All these real soft lines that hopefully I can get. I think that'll really finish out the piece here. Alright, now any more would be overdoing it. And I think we are done. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I think it's definitely a good start to the style, and I think it is something that I wish to incorporate into the rest of my work when I do start to go do my own original work, which will actually, it'll start tomorrow. on the next new series that I'm doing, which will be kind of similar to this, you know, practicing, but it'll be more like practicing something like, you know, say we're going to practice a hand, and then we're going to have a panel where we do an own original scene involving a hand, and then we'll do something different next week. But I think this is a great start. I think I'm gonna really continue to improve my work this way, practicing all these different styles specifically, practicing hand movements and different techniques like this will really, I think, jump my artwork forward. I'll get better and better, and hopefully before too awfully long, I'll be able to start planning out my own manga. I'm already thinking of ideas, and I'm ready to start storyboarding and stuff. So once we're confident in our artwork and the ability to get this done the way I want to, then I'll be able to move on to the more exciting things. So hopefully I can get a few more techniques under my belt and you guys enjoy following along. I'm gonna start planning out the next one. I'll see you guys later.